watched the behind the scenes and you've read things, or, if you're really into all that, which if you're listening to this, let me put it this way. If you're still listening to this, then you're probably into the behind the scenes and stuff. Well, heck, if you are listening to a Star Trek podcast, yes, you do indeed watch the behind the scenes, people. So Ronald D. Moore was borrowing from his own experiences where he was going to join the Navy or the Army or something, one of those people. And because he had to do something, it was either, I think, he was either going to be he was either aspiring to be a writer or just join the Navy. It's a cop-out dream when you're thrusting into manhood. Well, what am I going to do with my life? I'll join the Army. Anyway, Ronald D. Moore was going to do that, but I'm sure glad he became a writer because, we don't need Ronald D. Moore going out there and getting himself killed and trying to be a hero, because we got enough people doing that, and wars are stupid. They're all for our protection, they say, but I've got my theories, my conspiratorial theories. I'm just kidding. All right, so no, joining the Army is a very honorable thing. Holy crap, the 4th of July is in 2 days. By the way, I'm recording this. What day am I recording this on? It's July 3rd. Oh, wow, July 4th is tomorrow. It's crazy. Just a few weeks ago, it felt like the year just started, but it turns out it was actually a few months ago. And I think we're right in the halfway point between for this year. So it's just amazing how, well, I'm going to do stuff this year. And then, holy crap, it's a whole half a year's gone by. But back to what I was talking about. Ronald D. Moore ended up pitching a script to Star Trek, The Next Generation, and they looked at it and they decided to go with it. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the story. You know what? Darn it, I should go look up the go get on Wikipedia and look up the episode list for Next Generation, because I don't know a lot of these episodes off the top of my head, but you all know which one Ronald D. Moore wrote, his first episode. It was the one with the little kid, and his mommy dies, and he has to cope with that, and and the Gene Roddenberry influence on that was that little kids don't get upset about that, and people don't get upset over deaths in the future. So I'm kind of losing focus here, but that episode was Ronald D. Moore's first episode, and so the whole thing with Wesley Crusher and that last season 7 episode sort of paralleled Ronald D. Moore's own experience, where instead of going to the Army or whatever he was going to do at the time, he decided to say, screw it, I'm going to be a writer, and because of that, we got some great things out of the guy, or great things from the guy, in the Star Trek franchise. But I hate that episode. I hate that episode with Wesley Crusher in season 7. I thought they ruined the character. I didn't think it worked. I thought it was weird that this kid, he decides to go with this weirdo. They sort of dissolved Wesley Crusher being a real character, because his last episode, well, we all know Will Wheaton was stuck up and left the series in season 4, I believe. But, he was like, oh, just like Denise Crosby, he was like, oh, crap, I don't have any more jobs. How about that? I'm not so hot as I thought I was. Well, let me call up Rick. Let me call up Rick Berman and see if he can get me a spot. No, I'm just kidding. Will Wheaton and Denise Crosby are great. I mean, you watch Trekkies, and that's a great movie, and Denise Crosby's great in that, and Will Wheaton's a lot of fun, too. Shut up, Wesley! But, I just think they ruined the character, because you watch the first duty, and he's this aspiring Starfleet officer, and then in season 7, they just threw that under the bus and sacrificed it for nothing. That kind of demeaned the character a little bit and didn't make a lot of sense and wasn't too satisfying. It's like he goes off with this weirdo and in a turtleneck, and it's just odd. Everything in season 7. Well, let me put it this way: I'm glad there wasn't. I'm glad they didn't waste their time doing a season after that. If there was a TNG season 8, by the way, you should check out TNG season 8 on Twitter. That's pretty fun right there. if they did season 8, you know, it either suck as much as TNG season 7 did, but if it was good, it would kind of be pointless because you screwed up all these things in season 7. So it's just like, where do you go from there? It's the end of it. So season 7 just ruined a lot of things for me, character-wise. You know, we talked about Sub Rosa, what they did. They made, as I said, they made Counselor Troi and Dr. Crusher look like a couple of, excuse the crudity of this word, but, you know, a couple of horny cheerleader high schoolers. It's just a terrible thing. Oh, don't even get me started about the relationship between Worf and Deanna Troi. I mean, come on. You know, I haven't gotten this far in DS9 yet, and I'll get and I'll get there as I'm rambling here. I'll get on to DS9 and how that's had influence on my Trek life lately. But I just want to say that, first of all, by the way, have I introduced myself yet? Do I have a name? Oh boy, I'm going to have to come up with a name for myself by the time this podcast is done. But no, the whole relationship between Worf and Deanna Troi, what the crap is that? And I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense. I mean, like parallels, that was an interesting way to build things up with Deanna Troi and Worf. But as the episodes went on, and there were a couple of episodes where they dealt with that, it was just really stupid. And then in the last episode, the last episode is kind of a sad thing, because the last episode, the TNG finale of the whole series, which is a great episode, you've got to look past season 7 influences in it, you know, such as Deanna Troi and Worf being together, and you know, who likes that kind of thing. But Worf dating Counselor Troi is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, because not only would Worf not prefer Earth women, but come on, Counselor Troi is the most girly girl character we've ever had on Star Trek. Of course, Worf wouldn't date the chick. And where I was going with DS9 before, you know, and the loopholes of my thoughts, you kind of fall through one pothole and then you crawl up that, and, you know, I'm getting more metaphorical here and analogical. Wait, what? Oh, forget it. I'm not, whatever. But in DS9, I think Worf is to fall in love with Dax, you know, Jadzia Dax. And that makes sense, because Dax is a butt kicker, and she's, all the, it's kind of funny. In Next Generation, all your female characters were really girly, and the one that wasn't girly got killed off. But she was still a girl too. But in DS9, you've got no girls at all, really. You've got this Bajoran crew cut wearing chainsaw using machine gun wearing butt kicker. I don't know how that made any sense, what I just said, but these things just come out of my mouth. I'm talking about, let's see, what's her name again? Nerys. You know, I don't understand why I don't have her name on my brain today. Because I know the actress's name, Nana Visitor. It's weird. I know I can recall the actress's name in this instance, but I cannot recall the character she's playing. Hey, we're almost nearing 20 minutes. That's great. I think I'll shut up around 30 minutes, and that'll be that, and you can send me emails and stuff, right? Okay, so, where was I going with things? Okay, so the character, Kira. Yeah, duh.
Your memory is wearing thin, number one.
But no, the character Kira Nerys, she's not really a girl. And I think that's kind of evident. And Dax, she's not really a girl either. You're not really a true girl if you've been a man before. Not really. Of course, I can't speak on behalf of the symbiotes and the what are they called? What are those creatures called? I don't get it. Right when I pull out the recorder, my brain is all foggy and messed up. And I can't remember things. You know what? It makes sense, though, because if my brain wasn't foggy and messed up, I'd put some planning into this podcast. Instead, it's pulling up Audacity and recording. What are those things called? My, oh my, Star Trek podcast hosts have not screwed up as much as I have. But I can't speak on behalf of the things that Daxes are, the thing that Dax is.